I was trying to get a record deal, and I'd just been turned down by Capitol in Nashville. Very, very famous Rat Pack producer.
After Toby Keith's passing, his family expected to find memories and keepsakes. But when they opened his garage, they stumbled upon something no one ever imagined. Hidden away behind the everyday tools and oil-stained floor was a discovery that left everyone stunned. And it wasn't what fans thought they knew about him. What was Toby keeping secret all along? Let's find out. Toby Keith's passing on February 5, 2024, marked a heartbreaking day for the world of country music. At just 62 years old, he left behind not only a legendary career, but also an irreplaceable presence in the hearts of his family, fans, and fellow musicians. He passed away peacefully at home, surrounded by his loving family after a long and courageous 2-year battle with stomach cancer. His strength in the face of illness had been widely admired, as he never shied away from being honest about his health struggles while continuing to inspire through his music and public appearances. The battle was not an easy one. Diagnosed in the fall of 2021, Toby Keith endured rounds of chemotherapy, surgery, and radiation treatment. Despite the grueling fight, he maintained a strong spirit, often sharing updates with his fans to assure them that he was still standing tall. He even returned to the stage in 2023 for select performances, proving his resilience and passion for performing. Those who knew him closely often described his determination as unmatched, a reflection of the grit that had carried him from a small-town Oklahoma boy to a household name in American music. Toby Keith was a 5-time Academy of Country Music Entertainer of the Year, a recipient of the Merle Haggard Spirit Award, and an inductee into the prestigious Songwriters Hall of Fame. His catalogue of hits, from patriotic anthems like Courtesy of the Red, White and Blue to heartfelt ballads such as Should Have Been a Cowboy, had woven themselves into the fabric of American culture. To lose such a voice was to lose a storyteller of the nation's soul. The emotional impact of his passing was felt instantly. His children poured their hearts out in tributes that revealed not just the icon, but the man they loved. His daughter, Crystal, who had followed in his footsteps as a singer, called him "my hero," words that carried both admiration and the weight of grief. His son, Stellan, remembered him as a figure of strength and guidance, honoring not just his father's career but the man who had shaped his life. Fans across the globe echoed these sentiments, flooding social media with memories, concert footage, and words of mourning. Fellow artists also stepped forward to share how deeply Toby had influenced them, often citing his bold individuality and refusal to bend to industry pressures. The loss was not just of a star, but of a pillar of authenticity, a man who carried his values through both his music and his personal life. While the curtain had fallen on his earthly journey, the echoes of his voice and the lessons of his fight against illness remained as a reminder of courage and perseverance. Yet, as heavy as the grief was, questions lingered. What was life like behind the scenes in his private sanctuary? Beyond the spotlight, Toby Keith's home and garage held stories of his passions, his memories, and perhaps even secrets yet untold. And it was there, after his death, that the world would discover another side of him. In the early 2000s, as Toby Keith's music career was climbing to new heights, he made a decision that reflected both his success and his roots. He purchased a 160-acre property near Norman, Oklahoma, naming it Dreamwalkin' Farms after one of his beloved albums. The estate wasn't chosen for extravagance alone. It was a place where he could anchor his family and build a space that felt like home, not just a trophy of fame. The main house, nearly 9,000 square feet, was designed for comfort rather than show. It held open living areas where family could gather, a theater for quiet nights in, and a kitchen that quickly became the heart of the home. Just a short walk away, a 2,500-foot cabana stood ready for afternoons of lounging, barbecues, and open-air relaxation. The property also boasted a private fishing lake with a fountain where the country star often spent quiet mornings reflecting, and a racquetball court that brought bursts of joy and energy during late-night games. For Toby and his wife Tricia, Dreamwalkin' Farms became more than an estate. It was where they raised their children, hosted celebrations, and enjoyed the privacy that fame often threatened to take away. On the grounds, you could find a racquetball court, plenty of open space for outdoor games, and corners of peace, where life slowed down to a rhythm very different from the tour bus and stage lights. Yet, the property held one more feature that made it uniquely Toby's, a massive garage. What he kept inside went far beyond ordinary cars, and the collection it housed would surprise even those who thought they knew everything about him. Stepping into Toby Keith's garage was like stepping into a museum of American muscle and memory. Every corner carried not just horsepower but history, carefully chosen to reflect a man whose songs and life celebrated grit, freedom, and roots. Among the shining machines was a 1969 Mach 1 Ford Mustang, one of the most beloved models of its era. With its long hood, fastback design, and growling V8 engine, it embodied pure power and performance. Painted in bold colors and lined with aggressive striping, the Mach 1 wasn't only a car but a statement, fast, fearless, and unforgettable, much like Toby's own public persona. Nearby rested his 1972 Oldsmobile Cutlass, a car admired for its balance of luxury and strength. Its curvy body, chrome accents, and smooth handling made it one of the finest rides of the 70s. This car bridged worlds, offering both muscle and comfort, echoing the dual sides of Toby himself, the hard-edged performer and the family man who cherished quiet evenings at home. Then there was the 1977 Pontiac Trans Am, instantly recognizable as a nod to Smokey and the Bandit with its black paint, gold Firebird emblem across the hood, and roaring engine. It wasn't just a vehicle. It was pop culture on four wheels. Owning this car revealed Toby's playful side, his affection for the cinematic legends that shaped an era, and his own love of boldness and showmanship. But perhaps the most meaningful in the lineup was his 1963 Chevy Impala. Painstakingly restored, this car was more than polished metal. It was his father's car, a tangible connection to the dusty backroads of his Oklahoma childhood. The wide chrome grille, classic lines, and rumbling engine brought back echoes of family drives, laughter, and lessons from a man who helped shape him. For Toby, every spin in that Impala was a journey back home. No matter how far fame had taken him, each car in the garage spoke in its own voice. The Mustang roared ambition. The Cutlass hummed balance. The Trans Am shouted nostalgia, and the Impala whispered legacy. Together they formed a chorus of Toby's life, lined up on polished concrete floors beneath the glow of overhead lights. For Toby, cars were never just machines. They were memory keepers carrying the stories of oil-field daydreams, the thrill of open highways, and the simple joy of turning wrenches with grease-stained hands. He didn't just collect them, he lived through them, letting their engines echo his own journey through music, family, and fame. Just as these cars told pieces of his story, so too did his life's journey. From a small-town dreamer to one of country music's biggest stars, a road filled with grit, struggle, love, and triumph waiting to be explored. Toby Keith was born on July 8, 1961, in Clinton, Oklahoma, and grew up in nearby Moore. His roots were grounded in hard work and small-town grit. As a teenager, he joined his father in the oil fields, rising before dawn to put in long shifts that taught him discipline and endurance. Yet, even while working, his heart pulled him toward music. Nights were spent playing in smoky local bars with his band, the Easy Money Band. These dual experiences, working in oil by day and chasing songs by night, shaped his resilience and his dream of becoming something more than just another field hand. When the oil industry collapsed, Keith was forced to make a choice. With the fields gone quiet, he tried his hand at semi-professional football, joining the Oklahoma City Drillers. Football gave him teamwork and toughness, but his passion remained in music. Eventually, he returned to it with greater focus, determined to write songs that told stories of ordinary life, love, and struggle. He often said that he was chasing a songbook, not just a paycheck, and this drive carried him into the early 90s when he finally got his break. In 1993, Keith's world changed forever. His debut single, Should Have Been a Cowboy, shot to the top of the charts, marking the beginning of a career that would span decades. The song became an anthem and made him a household name almost overnight. Platinum albums followed, along with hits that defined a generation of country music fans. Keith didn't just stop at singing, he built an empire. He launched Show Dog Nashville, a label that gave him creative independence and later merged it with Universal to form Show Dog, Universal Music. Alongside music, he proved himself a sharp businessman, securing a minority stake in Big Machine Records, the same company that would launch Taylor Swift's career. His instincts extended beyond the stage, proving he understood both art and enterprise. But while the spotlight grew brighter, his personal life remained his anchor. Keith married his high school sweetheart, Trisha Lucas, in 1984. They met in a bar when she was 19 and he was 20, and she later recalled that he was larger than life even then, confident, charming, and romantic. Their bond held steady during lean times when money was scarce and dreams felt distant. Over the years, she also admitted that Keith had moments of undeniable charm, adding, "Most people think he is just the most romantic person on the planet." Together, they built a family, raising 3 children: Shelley, whom Keith adopted after their marriage, Crystal, who followed in his musical footsteps, and their son Stellan. Through all the touring, long nights, and the chaos of fame, Trisha was by his side. She described him as not only a performer, but a devoted husband and father whose softer side was often hidden from the public eye. Keith's connection with fans never waned. His last Instagram post captured him performing in Las Vegas, raising his guitar toward the crowd with a grin. "And that's a wrap on the weekend, y'all." "Back to it," he wrote, showing that even after years of stardom, he still loved the stage. Just a month before, he played at Dolby Live at Park MGM, still giving everything to the music that once began in small Oklahoma bars. Let's go back to his garage. Just when it seemed every story had been told through chrome and horsepower, something far more personal. An unpolished letter waited quietly to shift the meaning of his entire collection forever. In the quiet corner of Toby's garage, between polishing cloths and the faint scent of oil on the concrete, the family came across something they never expected. It was not another prized car part or a forgotten tool, but a handwritten, unfinished letter addressed to Trisha and the kids. The pages were edged with heartfelt longing, filled with half-erased words that carried the weight of his private struggles. It was a discovery that revealed more about Toby Keith than countless public interviews or grand performances ever had. The letter's contents gave a glimpse into the rawest corners of his heart. He wrote of gratitude for the quiet mornings you gave me, cherishing the stillness of simple family life away from the lights of the stage. He confessed regrets about road-weary farewells before bedtime, those moments when touring schedules pulled him away from being present as a father. He expressed hopes that their next generation would always choose love over applause, a sentiment that underscored how deeply he valued human connection above fame or accolades. This was Toby stripped of his public armor. It was not the confident singer who commanded arenas, but the husband who recognized the sacrifices made by Trisha as she held the family together while he chased the demanding rhythm of his career. The words revealed a man who was fully aware of the fragility of time, yet strong enough to bear his soul in ink, even when he could not always say it aloud. In those unfinished lines lay the essence of the man. He was more than a performer, celebrated for patriotic anthems and stage presence. He was a dad who often missed dinners, a husband who carried immense gratitude for unwavering support, and a star who felt haunted by moments when love had not been expressed enough. The letter became a quiet memoir, not written for the public eye, but for the people who had always stood by him. It was a reminder that behind the legacy of hit songs and awards was a person who craved forgiveness, intimacy, and reassurance. For his family, this discovery carried the same emotional weight as a final performance. It was a gift that allowed them to hold on to his voice in a way no recording could. Each unfinished sentence, each scratched-out word was a window into his vulnerability. It spoke of a man who understood both the power of his stage presence and the irreplaceable value of his presence at home. But just as the letter revealed his deepest emotions, another chapter of his life raises questions: how he prepared for the future, what his will contained, and the true measure of his net worth. At the time of his passing, his net worth was estimated at around 400 million. This remarkable fortune came from many streams: chart-topping record sales, ownership of his own record label, his popular restaurant chain, I Love This Bar and Grill, a mezcal brand that grew under his vision, and an early strategic stake in Big Machine Records that turned into one of his smartest investments. His career, always larger than life, became a blueprint for how musicians could expand their reach far beyond the stage. Yet behind these financial victories was careful planning. On February 15, 2022, not long after receiving his diagnosis, Toby signed his will. The timing showed a man who knew the importance of protecting those he loved most. The will named his wife Tricia and their 3 children, Shelley, Crystal, and Stellan, as the primary heirs. But it did more than divide numbers on a page. It also covered confidential business interests and ongoing ventures that Toby built over decades. These elements made the estate not only valuable but also complex, requiring careful handling to ensure his work and legacy continued. Tricia soon stepped forward to take on the role of administering the estate. She did so with dignity and caution, filing requests for probate documents to remain sealed. This decision, though unusual for public figures, highlighted the family's desire for security. In today's world of constant exposure, they wanted to shield personal information from unwanted eyes. Even their home address and sensitive family details were legally protected, a rare step that underlined just how fiercely Toby's loved ones valued privacy. Beyond money and contracts, his estate also spoke of loyalty and protection. It reflected the man who, even at his weakest, thought ahead to ensure his family's strength. His fortune was staggering, yes, but its true weight was measured in the love he secured for Tricia and their children. It was more than numbers. It was a safety net woven from years of relentless effort, sleepless tours, and bold decisions that few others would have risked. After Toby's death, fellow artists and public figures responded swiftly, honoring both his legacy and his character. Blake Shelton, one of his closest friends and a fellow Oklahoman, posted on social media, "Even though I knew about your battle these last few months, I still never imagined this day. Anyone who knew you knows what I mean. You were the toughest man I ever met. Thank you, brother, for being a friend, a hero, and an inspiration. There will never be another Toby Keith." Dolly Parton shared her own message on Instagram, calling him one of the greats in every way. She added, "He will be missed, but his music and legacy will live on." Carrie Underwood crafted a poignant image of his journey beyond life's final curtain. "Saddle up the horses, Jesus, 'cause a true blue cowboy just made his ride up to heaven. Introduce him to all the Okies and sign that boy up for the choir. We're going to miss you, Toby, but my heart has no doubt that you are standing in the presence of our king right now. See you again someday, friend." Randy Houser paid tribute musically, strumming Keith's classic I Love This Bar, Live Before Writing, an American icon. They do not make him like him every day, in my opinion. Rest in peace, job well done. Beyond the music, other voices like Ricky Skaggs called him one of the good guys, praising his patriotism and generosity, while Lee Greenwood highlighted their shared love for the military and performing for troops. Toby Keith will be remembered as more than a country music legend. He will be cherished as a voice that spoke to the heart of America. His songs captured grit, pride, and love in ways that connected generations, and his larger-than-life presence on and off the stage leaves a legacy that will inspire artists and fans for years to come. How do you think he should be remembered most? As the powerhouse performer, the devoted family man, or the patriotic voice of a generation? Share your thoughts below.